Welcome back. Public servants across America are on notice this morning as Elon Musk prepares to take a scalpel to government bureaucracy. The tech billionaire has been appointed by Donald Trump to help run the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, aimed at cutting waste and restructuring the federal government. It comes after Elon Musk fired around 80% of the workforce at Twitter after acquiring the company. For their take, let's bring in broadcaster Neil Mitchell and Perth Lord Mayor Basil Zempilas. Good morning. Neil, welcome back to you. What do you think of this?
Well, I think Basil will be worried. He's a public servant, isn't he? I'm not a great fan of Elon Musk, but we do need efficiency and we need to get rid of red tape. Do you know there are 2.5 million public servants in Australia across all areas of government, including Basil's local government? 250 billion a year it costs. We've added 26,000 new public servants since the Labor government's been in power federally. I can't see why it's growing. I mean, everybody else has got real efficiencies they have to follow. Elon Musk will go hard on it, but it's only a temporary thing. In the end, Donald Trump has to take responsibility for it. I think every country in the world needs a good look at its public service, how it works, and cutting red tape. It is fat. I think there's no doubt they just push pens around and don't answer phones. What else do public servants actually do?
Well, look, I'm sure some of them would argue that they do more than push a pen around. But to your point, a lot of us in the private sector have had to cut back. That has been well publicised. It's happened right here. Basil, do you think we need an Elon Musk in Australia?
Yeah, and I think that's the really interesting point. It's not about looking for the efficiencies or trying to make organisations, and in this case the public sector or the public servants themselves, run better, leaner, meaner and still get the job done. It's about bringing that outside person in, and in particular Elon Musk, one of the most famous outside people there is in the world, into the middle of it and try and bring that outside perspective to see what can be done. So I think the whole world will be looking here to see, can those cuts be made in an effective manner?
What about
and
you at the
are they
council?
sustainable? Well, I won't be bringing Elon Musk in. That might be a little bit beyond us at the City of Perth.
Slips?
However, there might be a real opportunity here for absolute outside specialists to come into organisations and come into the public sector and say, OK, those inside struggle to see where the savings can be made, so let's bring in that fresh perspective. Perhaps they can see it. And typically, that is the way it happens in the private sector.
Basil, you bring in the outsiders, they'll do away with councils. We don't actually need them.
Oh, OK. Look, we might do that another day. Let's move on to this one. A Liberal candidate in Adelaide has called for a random drug test for MPs in order to improve public trust in politicians. Amanda Wilson is running in a by-election this weekend after the former opposition leader David Spears quit Parliament after facing drug charges. Basil, drug tests for pollies.
It's a reasonable call, but I think any politician and any fair-minded person would say, if we're going to do it at the pollies, then it really has to be done across the board. I understand why tradies and those doing manual work or heavy physical work where there are heavy machinery and obviously the real risk of injury, why they're drug tested. I think we understand that. If we're going to get pollies to do it, then the journos have got to do it, then everybody's got to do it. So I think it's all in, or we keep it to those industries where safety is the primary concern.
OK. Neil, would it put more trust in our pollies?
Oh, I don't think it's a big problem. We've been mucking around with it for 10 years in Victoria. 2014 it was first suggested, random breath tests and drug testing even for judges, for magistrates, for politicians. It didn't happen. And as for introducing it in media, I remember I once suggested it at a place I was working and I brought in the drug testing machine. People just disappeared. They ran.
Where were you working?
I don't think you should say that.
OK. Yeah, you don't want to say now. OK, thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.